Jane Kern, California Pesticide Farm.
Over here.
Michelle Schultz-Wood from the California Air Resources Board.
Luis Olmedo, Comité Cico del Valle, part of the I-20 team.
I'm Abraham Marquez with the National Latino Research Center.
I'm Ryan Atencio with the California Department of Toxic Substance Control.
Eduardo Guevara from Promotores Comunitarios del Desierto.
Martin Hernandez, Kern County Fire Department, Station 33, McFarland.
Mark Paloma, Kern County Fire Department, Station 51, Lamont.
Lucia Gonzalez, the Laura Sparkle Foundation.
Brian Coleman, Kern County Fire Department.
Community health reporter for the Comunitarios newspaper.
Angeles Herrera with EPA. Joan Farther with Promotores.
Also with Promotores.
Insert back row going around. Araceli Ochoa, Ameriforce.
I'm Dennis Fox from Kern Coalition.
My name is Brian Johnson, Department of Toxic Substances Control.
Hey everybody, my name is Ruth Reach. I'm with a group called Global Community Monitor. We're known for the Community Bucket Brigade.
My name is Linda McKay. I'm with the Regional Group Association of Irritated Residents, AIR, and my local group is Tri-County Watchdogs. In the back.
Marisela Velasquez, the Valley Air District.
Scott Walker, Cal Recycle.
Estella Butaka, Cal EPA.
John Faust, Office of Environmental Health and Business.
Tom Franz from Shafter and head of the Valleywide Association of Irritated Residents.
Al Wagner with Senator Michael Rubio's office.
Clay Rogers with the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board.
Jose Angel with the formerly with the Central Valley, now with the Palm Desert office with the Water Board. Just a guest. But I do want to take over Clay's office.
You might get what you wish for.
I've been called out before.
Howard Wine, Bakersfield Fire Department.
Ben McFarland, Kern County Farm Bureau.
Karen Franconi with the California Department of Pesticide Regulation.
How do you guys introduce yourselves again, just while we're going around?
Teresa Diana with Californians for Pesticide Reform.
Susana Diana with Community Water Center.
Debbie Lilian, US EPA.
Lupe Martinez, Center on Race Party and Environment.
Great. Want to please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sasha Koga. I'm with the California Report Public Radio Program, and we're going to do a story about this effort.
Great. So again, thank you all for coming, and I'm going to turn it over first to Teresa and Susana, just to give you guys a little bit of an orientation to the
that were created in the site. But not only that, when they weren't able, I guess at some point they got into themselves into bringing the stuff and putting it out into the fields. Now it's been cleaned as a result of the Board of Supervisors finding them $2.3 million because of these other violations, which is a violation because this is agricultural land and you're not supposed to put any of that stuff over here. And what they were bringing was concrete, you name it. They were bringing it. They were bringing the plastic
They didn't have the respiratory illnesses, had respiratory illnesses the next day. And so they were told, when the fire department saw that was going on, then they were told, they told the people, well, then go to the Wheat Patch Market, and it was right here on this parking lot. And they had different tarps, and they were banded with different colors of bands. And they said, okay, if you're feeling this symptom, then you go here. If you're feeling this symptom, you go over here. And there's one call for the ambulance right now, and if you don't get on it, then there's not going to be another ambulance. So people were there, and they were really sick, but they were thinking, but how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for my hospital bills when they come? How am I going to pay for the ambulance bill? You know, should I just stay sick or should... But some of the people did board the ambulance. They did get on because their kids were so sick and they were just unable to breathe, so they got on and they went to the hospital. But the other ones stood on these tarps for hours until they determined what it was.
Self-help and the Department of Agriculture, and who was on that time Supervisor Michael Rubio, they saw the issue and what was the problem, and they gave the money to do the connections. They came and measured and everything should start.
In the morning, thank you for coming out. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to take time out of your day to come, especially from Sacramento. That's really far.
300 miles. And I know it takes money, something that the state doesn't have right now, but we just really thank you. We thank Comité Cívico for coming with the material. We thank all the organizers for helping us plan this meeting today. CRPE, Center on Race, Poverty, and the Environment, Lupe, Beatriz, the Dolores Puerta Foundation, Community Water Center.
I want to defer, first of all, to Assistant Secretary Manteca to see whether he wants to say a few words, and then Administrator, if it's okay with you. And my counterpart, Clay Rogers. Clay Rogers works for the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board, and he is the Assistant Executive Officer. I don't know if he wants to say a few words. Oh, Brian, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to miss you because that's where the robber is going to meet the road many times. Brian Johnson from the Department of Toxic Substances Control. He's the Chief of Enforcement. I might have missed a few others, but anyway, thanks.
Oahua's here also.
Yeah. Garrett?
Sure. First of all, thank you, and I think a number of people deserve a big round of applause, but specifically Tracy and Beatrice and Teresa and Debbie for organizing the bus, so let's give them a big round of applause. So if you think about why the Environmental Protection Agency was founded 40 years ago, and it was founded because citizens were sick and tired of pollution coming into their neighborhoods, causing rivers to catch on fire, pesticides to lead people to go to hospital, and we passed in this country some pretty remarkable landmark legislation, the Clean Water Act, the Safe Drinking Water Act, laws to deal with Superfund sites, laws to deal with pesticide regulation, and those are really hard-fought victories. Those, if you think about today, the political climate that exists today, we would not be able to get those same strong pieces of legislation passed if they were going through the United States Congress and Senate today. So what we have is really valuable. Those things, those pieces of legislation are designed to protect human health and the environment. And they're only as good as their implementation. So it's great that we have county officials here from the fire department all the way through. We're here in a library. This is where you come in. We won't, today we heard about what happened in Weed Patch from Teresa, and that would not have even really been brought to anyone's attention if it hadn't been for citizens that said we're sick. There was pesticide drift, and as a result, we got sick, and we demand that you give us the attention we deserve. So environmental justice used to be, and I think this is a big transition moment for the movement, environmental justice used to be lots of individual communities fighting by themselves for what they wanted, which was the same air, the same water, the same land as everyone else in this country deserves. That's the thing about the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. We're saying the land here should be just as clean as the land in New York, which should be just as clean as the land in Arizona. So that's what equity means. And environmental justice is basically because of your race and your income level, you can tell where the dirtiest places in this country are just by those two factors. And that shouldn't be the case. So what this, first of all, the administrator and the president said, we want a special focus on children's environmental health. So thank you to the children that have come today. My kids are both in the public school system, and I was telling someone today that an environmentalist came to their class. My son's in the 7th grade, and they said, it's up to you, kids. And the class, and my son was like, no, it's up to you. We're not adults. So, we should stop telling the kids it's up to them. We're here to protect them, right? That's our job. And we're not waiting for them to grow up to protect us. So, children's environmental health is a key piece of this administration's focus on the environment. And so we said, let's put new money into that. We got 261 applications, and we were only able to award nationwide 13 grants of money, and this was one of them for $98,000. And the nice thing about this is Luis and I have spent time in Imperial County, and Jose and I have spent time on the border. California is now learning from each other. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't need to say, oh my God, this is only our problem. We're so isolated. I wish we knew how we could work this out. So very simply, what Kern does, which builds, there's so many acronyms, but Kern is basically a project that built on a great idea that Luis and folks in Imperial came up with, which is community. You have community firefighting. You know your firefighters. You know your police people. They walk up and down the street. You are the community environmental police. That's your job, right? You are the eyes and ears for all of our agencies. We don't have enough boots on the ground to find out all the things we need to. Even though we have budget cuts, we would never have enough people to walk the streets and avenues to find out the problems that you know about every day. So you've got all this knowledge in your head. Technology now allows us to put that into a computer, to take a picture with your cell phone. You always wondered what that camera was for. Now you can take a picture of the pollution, whatever form it takes, put it into the computer, and Ryan, where's Ryan? So Ryan, for the Imperial Valley, was the go-to person. All this data goes into the computer, and then he worked with all the different agencies to say, who's responsible? Someone's got to be responsible here, right? We have this alphabet soup of government agencies. Like, to me, government is just, whether it's local, county, state, federal, we're all just government. We're paid for by your taxes and out of your pocket, so we might as well all work together and get the job done. And this program does that. It says, let's not work, you shouldn't have to work out that. That's our job. That's the job of the program. So your job is to report to us the problem. Our job then, and the grant that we've given to Teresa, is to allow the infrastructure to be built so that we now will have accountability. But accountability only comes with information. So you provide the information, we provide the accountability, and then what comes back is this case got solved, this didn't, we still need more information, or it's going to take longer to prosecute these people, or whatever the issue is, you will be able to find out what happened. So kind of closing the loop. And this is the next pilot. I think we're now beyond pilot. Hopefully communities, it will get cheaper the next time. They can come back and look at this case study and say, this is how CPR did it. And if we want to do it in our community, we can maybe change a few things, or borrow or steal a little bit, do it a little bit better. Each time it'll hopefully get even better, less expensive, and that's what the future face of the environmental justice movement should be. It's about you getting equity through accountability, and EPA is proud to play its part in supporting this. Thank you.
But because this is, like I said, kind of a new, this is a new universe, kind of a new approach to this problem. You know, we're kind of figuring out and solving problems as we go along. You know, IVAN is not a mandatory program, and a lot of regulatory agencies don't find it very useful for whatever reason. And you know, so that's an issue that's specific to those agencies. However, we had plenty of partners at the table that didn't like what we were doing, but they came every month anyways.
So see that this model is expanding, and now the California for Pesticide Reform is doing fabulous work. I get the fact that everybody's here and contributing to the next steps, which hopefully is begin the work. And you know, I trust that Tracy and yourself, Tocayo, can help lead the way. I don't know what's next on the agenda. I'm excited to see how it is that these problems are going to be solved. And you know, I saw some hands go up along the way, such as Brian, you know, kind of throwing his hat up there and saying, I'll help solve some of these problems. I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a lot of support, not from everyone, from the governmental agencies, from the community, from the media. Can I imagine how important the media is to making sure that they're also holding everyone's feet to the fire at all levels. And so with that, I'm excited to see what else is next on the agenda. So thank you for asking me a few words.